Let's talk about deja vu, shall we? It's a feeling of already experiencing a present moment situation. A phenomenon is a rare occurrence of something, thing, place you can't explain. You have no idea. Like the glaciers, how did they actually get there? I question Mount Rushmore myself. And what about the chicken or the egg? What's the phenomenon there? And who really was the first human? So many things that are a phenomenon. We all have experienced deja vu, even without knowing what deja vu actually means and who gives us the definition of what deja vu means. So it's sort of like you have a dream and you forget about the dream, and then you're living it, and then you get memories of it, but it creates an overwhelming feeling that you're walking through this dreaminess in a physical way, which can be considered a deja vu. Like you've been in this place before. You've talked to these people before. You've seen the situation. You know what the outcome is. A lot of that is happening in our unconscious dream states. We are possibly going to sleep at night. Possibly our consciousness goes somewhere and it's in the school of life, and you're designing things as you go. And then your consciousness becomes awakened in your physical body, and it lays dormant in there only to come out during times where the feeling itself is what gets you to recognize something interesting is happening here, and it can happen for a split second. Those kind of deja vu phenomenons always have me stop in my tracks, because I live by my intuition. I live by all of this. And I've had years and years of practice with it. So when feelings of what you want to call a deja vu occur, I stop, drop, sit, connect with my breath, and just become aware of my physical movements so that I could become aware of messaging surrounding me. So I could become aware of the highest outcome, that I'm not reactive. Because if somewhere in my unconscious dream state I've planned things out, then I want to slow down and see how I planned them, using my unconscious, bringing it to the conscious in my physical reality. Because most humans are reactive. They get on autopilot. They become very reactive with commingling with their life. And they think it's a commingle when it's an active participant running off of old programming. Much of it can be mindless, so to speak. So with that being said, we have some interesting energetics that have been going on that are forever changing. And so one of the things that I've personally noticed is, as soon as you take a cluster of people out of a constructive, controlled environment. 99% of them have no idea how to formulate constructivism. Example, I went to one of my little people's houses, had a session with one of my little people, and it was my job to take the little person, take them to their camp. The camp entrance was changed this week to the back side of the camp. The front side, everyone knew either to park or pull up in a line. The back side was much smaller. So as I pulled in, cars were parked in every which direction, parents getting out and walking their little children to and fro with absolutely no one in a parking space or even going forward, making a turnabout, coming up to the drop-off entrance and creating and formulating it that way. Literally, when I did that and came to formulate this way, there was a car parked this way with their kids out putting sunscreen all over them. And again, everyone's pulling in every which direction. To me, I was scanning and I had to, because I thought, what is happening here? And I realized that most people follow a constructive course of life. And when they're taken off, anything that was in the constructive plan, they are now out of control and don't know what to do. So they'll just park themselves anywhere and wait for instructions. This became very, very apparent in 2020. When everyone was just waiting to be told. And that's when we started seeing the herd in the modality that people will call sheep and so on. So you're still seeing it over and over and over again. Another experience yesterday, I went to a different location to pick up another child to take them for a session. The child got in the car and said they had such a terrible day. They told me why. It was because they were trading Pokemon cards, and this child did not want to trade the Pokemon cards and wanted them back, and the other child took them, put them in their notebook, refused to give them back. So he felt voiceless. So I said, okay, let's turn the car around. So I turned the car around. I said, we need to converse. And when this occurs at any other time, and you cannot communicate with another child where there's an understanding, then you need to go to the nearest chaperone, parent, or teacher. So the child comes out with this big book of Pokemon and proceeds to hand back. So I literally squat down to both of the children and I said, quite possibly in the future when you're going to trade, maybe you make sure that you agree upon it. Once you both go, I'm good, shake hands on it, and then you go one step further to solidifying. Well, as I was kneeling down and saying all of this, the other child's parents showed up. Both got out of the car and were standing there hovering and staring. And instead of looking at me when we all stood up, they looked at this 7-year-old and goes, is everything okay? So as I straighten my body up, I say, well, we were just discussing, an unhappy situation of a trade, and I was making this suggestion so in the future they could learn to communicate better. The father just looked and then walked away, and then the mother's and then she walks away. So I said, thank you to the child. Thank you to the child that was taken to a session. The child was taken to the session gets in my car. And I'm like, I turned around to the counselor and I said, I'm sorry. Was it my imagination or was there no adult participation? And she looked at me like, and I left there like, what is happening here? So we're seeing a lot of stuff going on all over the place. Another thing that I see when you want to talk about what you think is timeline glitching, I'm on the road a lot. And sometimes I'll get behind a slow poker in the left lane. They absolutely do not want to get over. I don't care how much I ride a bumper, put a blinker on, they don't want to get over. But you manage yourself to get over to the right, eventually get around them. I usually will just glance over because in my mind's eye, I want to see, does this person, are they aware of their behavior? Are they aware of their peripheral energy of cars flying by them? Are they on the phone? Are they specifically doing this? Are they old? What's happening here? Just so I can get an observational point of view. So many times I've gotten around situations like this, only to be going 70, 80 miles an hour down the freeway, miles down the road, minutes away, 5, 10 minutes, to slow down and find that person right in front of me again. Same car, same stickers. I'm like, what just happened here? And I thought to myself, oh, am I getting a spiritual redo so I handle the situation better? Is that what's happening? Did I do a time warp in my head and I landed on another space and another highway that looks similar to what is going on? I've heard various stories out here of others going through the same thing. Deja vu-ish, phenomenon-ish, I don't know. But whatever it is, you gotta stop, drop, sit, connect with the breath and the awareness, maintain the mechanics of your physical, all the while letting the energy flow through so things can be revealed around you. And it could just be teaching you to anchor in different time, space, continuum practice. You could be, without knowing it, simply practicing the skill of skipping into different spaces, so to speak. You know, when we don't learn our lessons, lessons will come back around to present, right? So maybe it's, okay, this is how I think I responded to this lesson. Oh, look at that. Same people, place, thing, feeling. How am I to respond here? Or am I okay with this response? And let me see what this presents, because maybe now this response is a little diff. Either way, it's teaching you how to work the mechanics of your physical body that houses everything. This is your transport system. This is your plane, your train, your automobile. This, the flesh and the bones of it all, where the energetics are connected to the antenna of all of this. So don't worry about its time speeding up. Don't worry about, am I skipping all over the place? Pay attention to the responses within your physical so that you can recognize, oh, this is occurring. Yeah. Yeah. Now let me see if I can see this with less cloudy eyes. Let me see if I can feel this in my sensory system. Let me see if I can translate. Because awareness is your first key, right? It's the empathicness. Whoops, something just occurred. Let me tune into what that is. So you don't freeze. You never freeze. You just slow the roll. You say, in your mind's eye, I become aware. I'm aware something's interesting. Call it what you want. It's irrelevant. What is relevant is how you internally and externally interact with it. Whatever it is. In the isness of all. So you look at it as the lesson, play, and game, and you're going to different levels, and this is happening. It just might be happening at different warped speeds right now because you yourself have been involved with the evolving of you, the human physical. So it's like energetically taking you to another level. And now you're sensing, seeing, and feeling things. So what you want to do is you want to just hone it in. So you're fully present in the micro and the macro. Fully conscious. Deliberate intention with the next move you make and interact with. I never know how these videos are going to turn out. I never know what spirit is going to flow through. I very rarely have to hit and start over again. But this is just a wake-up call to just be in attention, to expand the conscious mind so you're deliberately creating the avenues through each step that you take through your sensory systems. So if you want to call it a phenomenon, you want to call it a deja vu, you want to see what's going out there in the world, look at how you're organizing your skills. Don't worry about everybody else not in their parking space and that you look at you made the U-turn and went to the right spot because you assessed it. And what is everybody else doing? Do not worry about mainstream folk. A lot of mainstream folk live downwind from the cow pasture and think that's normal. I say that again. A lot of mainstream live downwind from the cow pasture. That's right. And they see, sense, and smell everything's hunky-dory. No idea why that just came through, but hey, what a concept, right? You're not downwind from the cow pasture, and if you were, you would know it, and you would know to remove thyself. It's not where you want to be. You want to be bebopping around in all these different opportunities that expand your awareness through the physical. All right, enough said. Please leave me a comment. Please like and share this video. See you on the next one.